I'm going to talk again as you're listening to it. By the way, my name is Willie Neal, and the name of my channel is Neal Talk. And what I want to talk about today is my wife and I have been looking at the idea of selling our home and just moving overseas. Because when you look at the idea of having a home, which is a great thing, it's a great thing psychologically, or perhaps it's more even greater to, in a sense, live the American dream that we've been told about for so long. I love my house, I love my community, but the reality is a house is a lot of work in the sense that if something go wrong with it, it's your responsibility. And people look at, oh, well, you're building equity. But what does that equity do for people? You're going to pass along to your kids or leave it to the church or something like that. But the bottom line and reality is, what if your children don't like where you live? You can love your house, but your children may not. The day you pass away and gone, and there's nobody else, your wife is gone, that they would get that house and put it on the market because it meant something to you, but not as much to them. So in essence, they love the financial part of it. So my thing is, why don't you just leave a little bit of money if that's what you want to do? And I'm saying that now, but as I was growing up, that wasn't, even though the Bible says leave something for your kids or your kids' kids, that wasn't necessarily the thought that most of my community had, that you got to leave all of this. Because a lot of times our kids are not such that they look forward to, oh, when mom and dad's gone, we're going to be set in life. Or we're going to do such and such. We're taking over the company. Most of my community, all you have is maybe a few $100s to give them that they probably will spend within the first month or two. No matter how much you leave, a lot of times there's not going to be a whole lot left for your kids and kids' kids. And I believe that there may be a generational thing where, you might leave a little bit for your kids. Then your kids might leave a little bit for their kids. Then goes from there. But I can truly say that I think it's more important for us to, as we can say, we've retired, now what? The now what is, I think that we need to enjoy life ourselves, and that enjoyment can be whatever you want it to be. It could be traveling. It could be just having you a house with a yard and a pool and just getting your nice car and do whatever you want. But I think that we sometimes get caught up in what the public relations of the world says. Oh, you got to have a house. You got to have a car. You got to have this, and, in order to be somebody. But the bottom line to me is I think I've learned that none of that is important. Because in the reality, we can say, well, I know. Like for me, I think that why is it that most folk that I know, oh, I want a new car. Why? Why do you want a brand new car? You don't want a used car. Nope, I want to get a brand new one. Now you got a little sense. Now everything that you know have told you that as soon as you drive off the lot, you've lost a portion of that. So why would you even do it? And that's one of the phenomenons to me of public relations. Public relations get us to think that, oh, well, but you know within yourself, you have a new car. You got that new car smell. Nobody ever had this car but you. But the reality is, when you drive anywhere, the only one mostly is impressed with your new car is you. Your car doesn't, in reality, doesn't look any better than most cars that are there. Because most of the people like us are trying to get there, and they think that things is a status symbol. Therefore, they want to drive this nice looking car. You know, just a regular car, a regular truck. Payments of $600-700 a month. Now, that was unheard of to me, you know, where when I was growing up, you know, people didn't even get a house payments with $600-700 a month. But now you have these people who have a car that is $600-700 a month because of you think somebody's gonna like it or be impressed that you have it. Nobody's impressed, really. I think that it's just as important to you to get from point A to point B in a regular Toyota that's decent for you. And I'm saying a Toyota, it could be anything. It could be a Hyundai or a Ford or a Chevrolet. But the bottom line is no one is impressed, really, but you. You feel good and you say, oh, I want to feel good with myself. Maybe that's enough. But the reality is you feel good for a moment, but you're not going to feel good writing that check this month and next month and the next month for $600 or $700 for a car. Because you can buy you a used vehicle for a lot less and pay a lot less. Get from point A to point B and be happy. And you'll get the same amount of people that, you know, says something nice about your vehicle or how you got there. But in reality, does old people even matter to you? And I can think about once when I was working with American Airlines. I used to go to this place in New York and buy all kind of purses and stuff like that. And now that I'm older, and I did give a lot away, but some people gave me money, want me to buy something for them, or I sold something. That to me now, as I've gotten older, and I go back to now that I'm retired, 65 and retired, what now? I look at it, and that's, as my dad would say, them just some fools walking around with that they know you have, ladies especially, you walk around with a $800 purse on your arm and probably don't have $50 in it. Now, the sad part about it is, why? Maybe not the sad part, but the question is why? Who are you impressing? Oh, I know I got a Louis Vuitton. But did you know you can go to New York and buy that same Louis Vuitton, they look the same, for $15. But you're going to give Joe Blow over here $100. And I guess because they went to New York and got it, or somewhere, or somebody went somewhere and got it for a lot less. So they may charge you $100, and you know that it's not authentic. But you feel good because you have it. Or you have some people that think, oh, I can go to the Goodwill or the secondhand store and I found me a Dooney and Burke for $50. It's real. Okay, you got a Dooney and Burke. Am I impressed? No. You can go to Walmart and get you a bag and put your money in it, or put your stuff in it the same. That it looked nice, but it's not Dooney and Burke. But it looked nice and it's yours. And you didn't pay $50. You didn't pay $300. You paid $10. It's yours. That the process, the thought process I'm looking at now, that I look at now compared to back then, simply because now I can see how we wasted so much money just to impress people, like buying a house. You know, there are people, simply because you can initially at the time afford a nice house, you'll spend $300,000 or $400,000 because the bank will loan me the money, and you figure out, by me making this much, I can afford. They wouldn't approve me if I couldn't make that. So every month, you've been looking at your finances. You know, you and your wife look at every month as soon as y'all get paid. Oh, we got to pay the bills. And then you have a few dollars left over for going out or date night or whatever you want to do. But you don't have the money that you could have had you found a nice rental, or that you got you an apartment as you gotten older, instead of paying all the money for a house and paying all the maintenance that is required. But in your mindset, but it's mine. I'm building equity. Equity is something that hopefully you can get when you sell your house. But if you're paying a lot less right now for a rental, and that's somewhere where you want to be, why not pay less and hold on to your money? Don't worry about equity, because that's in somebody else's hand. Your money is in your hand. But we have the public media, the media now telling, oh, you need a house, or friends and family. Yeah, I'm sure most people can tell you, buy a house. And they're not telling you to buy a house that is less or close to being less than what you pay in rent. If you can get you a house and pay closer to the same thing as you're paying in rent, that's one thing, especially if it's where you want to be. But if it's a place where you are just trying to fit in and you're trying to make it, and you know that you really shouldn't be there, but I can afford it because the bank told me I could, I think that's a big mistake that we run into because of public relations. And another public relations thing that I look at when I say, now that you're 65 and retired, what now, is the fact that we as a people want to be somewhere where we probably can do much, much better in other places. And I'm saying in other communities or perhaps even other countries. My wife and I have been looking at the idea of moving to, we're looking at either Panama or South Africa. We visited Johannesburg about a year ago. And I'll tell you, I really did like Johannesburg. I liked the atmosphere. I liked the people that were there. And I like the homes that were there, the expenses, because there your money goes so much further. And you look at a house here in the States would cost you, hundreds of thousands of dollars. There may cost you, you know, thousands compared to here. And we look at that and I say, perhaps we've been looking at the wrong way, that we're here in the States. I mean, as a group, as a family, because the only thing that really keep me here or been keeping me here is family. But it's not that we live like, when I was growing up, I used to watch a show called Dallas and that type thing. And it's one thing that I've always said, that if kids could live with parents until they was mid-30s or older, something like that, think of how much money those kids could have saved over time if they didn't have to pay rent, utilities, and so forth. But most of the time, a lot of the kids feel that they have to go out, get an apartment. And even now, you pay at least, let me just use Dallas. I know Texas. Dallas, you're going to pay about $1,200, $1,300 a month for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, plus utilities. And it's a decent place, maybe. But just imagine if you stay in a decent house and the parent was the ones that were paying and said, come on, stay with us. You stay with them, whether it was really nice or not, but someplace that you could stay that was decent and not have any of those bills for years. You could save a lot of money. Those kids could be well off compared to a lot of their peers. And that's how I look at it when I look at like South Africa. If I have a nice place in South Africa, I would certainly want my whole family, everybody in my family, hey, y'all can come here and stay. Especially if we have the room, just come on and save your money. Just imagine, just family being together, everybody contributing to the food or utilities or something like that. Kids don't have to worry about having a decent place. Whereas it's there, the houses are beautiful. And you could have all of that simply by, if families would just get together, because here, that's something that probably in our lifetime we'll never be able to afford. And it really kicked in to me a few years back. I was living in Dallas, and I was driving for Amazon, delivering packages. There's some communities in Dallas and in Irving and Richardson area that I would go to a Plano. And when I turned down the little street, just a bunch of trees on the side, and then you see a little road that goes back. And you drive down the road, gonna deliver a package, and then all of a sudden there's a security guard with the gate and everything. They get entrance. And you look at it and say, what is this here? You don't see it from the road. You never know. And you drive down, there's 2 security guards with them. You can look inside their little booth and you see video cameras working. And I guess you say it called CCT maybe now. But you see that as you're telling them, you come and deliver for Amazon, and then they have to call the people, hey, can such and such bring a package? They give you the okay. You drive in, and my GPS is telling me where to go. And I'm looking around in amazement that I didn't even know this place like this even existed around Dallas. And you look around and there's big houses and everything, and you say, how in the world is behind a bunch of trees? But you don't know it's back there. And you see people walking and stuff, or laying out on the grass on a blanket in their yard. What in the world? But those are the things to me that we as people would never have. When they talk about how the other half live, there is an other half. But I think that we're at that point in life now where, especially with the internet and so forth, we can see there's more to life than just what we see on TV, in a sense that the TV says that this is it. The way I grew up, this is it. My community, this is it. Be happy with it. But there's a whole nother life in this country, or especially in the world, that exists that we need to learn about. Therefore, as I get older and I think about what now, I think about opportunities that are there, and I can say, I'm going to partake of these opportunities. You got YouTube where you can do it anywhere in the world you are. Just set up and do it. If you only make, enough for a cup of coffee, okay. That cup of coffee is something that, thank the Lord, He's blessed me with, that I don't have to take my Social Security and pay for that cup of coffee. Or you go out to eat. I made enough this month on YouTube. I can go out and have me a meal. It may only cost me and my wife $10 overseas, but that's $10 not coming out of our Social Security. So I can save just that. So therefore, I have decided to do this YouTube channel and share and just give a glimpse as to what life is, or what I think from time to time. So therefore, I ask you to be a subscriber of Neal Talk and share your thoughts on what people do, or how they should be able to improve their life as they're getting older. And I thank you, and I ask you that you like and share this video. Thank you.